What up, everybody? Chef Brian Sow here, the internet's most passionate sandwich maker, and today I will be reacting to AsianMumInLaw on TikTok and their video called Hold My Soup. Now, AsianMumInLaw has over 1 million followers, and this particular video has over 113,000 likes and 2,620 comments. Damn. Shout out to my fellow bandmate of Lost Becomes, singer Anthony Capozzi. He is the one that sent me this video, and make sure you give him a follow. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am a professional chef with 17 years of experience. I've defeated Bobby Flay on the Food Network show, beat Bobby Flay, as well as run the kitchen of the world-renowned restaurant Beauty in Essex in New York City. Before I go on, I do want to give a quick shout out to my very generous patrons. Thank you so much for your support. And without further ado, let's check out this video from AsianMumInLaw. Okay, so he's taken a bunch of chicken wings and put it into one of those bullet blenders. I don't know if this type of blender is powerful enough for grinding up bone. We'll see. It is from the wing segment, and the bones are a little softer. Oof. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see. Let's go back. Do you see this? Is that steam or smoke? It looked like it was raw chicken that went in there. Yeah, that's some kind of steam or smoke. I don't know if it's smoking because it's overworking the motor so bad, or it's steam escaping. I don't think it's steam because these types of blenders have a cap on it. That cap has the actual blade that blends the product. So I actually think that's smoke because he's working this blender so hard, it's causing the thing to overheat and, you know, all the electrical components to burn up. I've seen it many times before when my cooks would overwork a piece of equipment. Basically, it smells like burnt rubber afterwards, and sometimes the machine breaks down completely. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Chicken nuggets. I mean, that's essentially what he's making, the base for chicken nuggets right there, which is a ground up chicken product. Something like, I don't know if you've seen like Asian fish balls, or what's another good example? Like just a super processed product, you know, when you break it in half, you can, you know, the way it breaks and the structure of the product tells you a lot of how much the product was beaten. Oh, you know what's a perfect example? Is a hot dog. You break open a hot dog and it's, you can tell it's a very even, lack of a better term, like cell structure, protein structure. It's very consistent. Okay. So, he's got it on a burner. You know, this is an electric stove. This is clearly a clear glass pot. You can see what's going on in the inside. Well, let's see what happens from there. So it's steaming. Yeah, well, there's steam being created from the cooking of the protein product. As you warm it up, the moisture or the water content evaporates, creating steam. Very normal, nothing unusual there. Everything that's happened up till now is as I'd expect, although I am kind of amazed that he was able to get this product as smooth as he did with one of those tabletop bullet blenders. Ew. That is definitely not a pretty sight. It's clearly only cooking on this one side first, but I think it's because the pot is kind of shifted to one end, so a lot of the heat concentrated in that one spot, thus cooking that area first. Okay, normal. I'm not seeing anything unusual aside from the fact that he took a bunch of chicken wings and blended it in a bullet blender. I still can't get over that. Okay, yeah, that's not pretty at all. It looks like, you know, the entire mass has started to cook. Now the water content is starting to come out of it. You know, he blended this, and in that blend is a mixture of connective tissue, fat, you know, the skin, the protein, bone. There's just so much in that mixture. And as you cook it, just everything is, you know, everything's kind of squeezing out of that protein content. Okay. The chicken slime has cooked. It's excreted all of its moisture content. And I was looking at this, I was like, that's a lot of moisture content. But I thought about it more. You know, he really grinded the heck out of that thing. And because of that, you know, he's created a lot more surface area per particle of chicken. Because of that, it's going to excrete a lot more moisture, fat, and all that stuff. So I think that's why there's so much of this broth product coming out of it, because it was ground it up so much and essentially overcooked. It's not like anyone's going to eat that ground up product. You know, it'd be great for a dog or something. You know, if he were to make some kind of chicken patty out of that product, you definitely wouldn't want to cook it to the extent where it excretes this much moisture. Anyway, let's see what he does. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it is like some kind of test tube thing. This is appears to be a centrifuge. Why he has a centrifuge? Centrifuge or centrifuge? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Why someone would have one of these machines at home, unless you're some kind of chemist. I have no idea. You can see this is a broth here. Typically in the Western kitchen, a broth is made from meat and a stock is made from bones. I guess technically you got both because he put the whole wing in there and grounded it up, but I'm just gonna call this a broth. You can see that at this top layer right here where my mouse is, that's where the fat is separating from the liquid, you know, the gelatin and all that stuff. Fat is lighter and it does not homogenize with the broth product. So it's it's been heated up and separated, and now it's floating to the top. Having one of these machines, these centrifuges at your home, not very normal. Okay, he's putting it in, so he's spinning it, and okay, so the fat has definitely, like, basically fully separated. There is all this white gunk, which I believe to be gelatin, or, you know, just bits and pieces of connective tissue that, you know, made it in, you know, didn't stay in the mass of the cooked protein, but was kind of free floating within the broth that he poured off. Because when you saw him pour off the broth, he didn't use a strainer. The strainer would have caught any odd ends, bits and pieces. That's what I predict. Okay, so he's pouring it out. You know, my assumption is that he's just trying to strain out the fat. And again, there's this like white gross mass. I think that's protein. I think that's, you know, free floating protein particles that in the process of being spun in the centrifuge had collected together into one mass. Okay, so he strained off, I think I was right, he strained off all the fat and all of that protein, you know, product, liquid thing, and now he's pouring it back into the bullet blender. Okay, so he's blending it again. The machine is still working, so maybe it was steam that I saw. I stand by that. I think it was smoke. Did he add something in there? Okay, let's go back. Just trying to see. Okay, he was pouring. I didn't see anything on the bottom of that pitcher. So I think that there's a ton of gelatin in that broth, which is perfectly normal when you make a stock and or a broth. When you're cooking the bones and or the meat, you're going to extract the gelatin from that product, and that is what's giving the air that you're pumping into this in the blender structure, so it actually holds its shape. When you use something like a whisk with egg whites, for example, or even cream, when you're making whipped cream, you'll see the air bubbles are much bigger than something like a blender. A blender is not really great for aerating a product. It will to a certain degree, not nearly as much as something like a tabletop mixer or whisking by hand. But when you do it in a blender, because it has those sharp blades and it's moving, it's spinning so fast, it's making the air bubbles super small, so you get this very smooth product when you aerate it with a blender. Okay, so he's pouring it out to a spoon. I'm gonna admit, the way that thing's pouring, hang on. The way that thing is pouring, I don't think we're in a kitchen anymore. I think we're in some kind of medical clinic. I don't know what that place is called, where men go to release their homemade goods for the better of for procreation. I mean, that's exactly what it looks like. You know, they give you the cup and you They give you a magazine, and yeah, it doesn't look pretty. And why there's this cup of water, this small bowl of water, I have no idea. Ooh, it even pours. It even pours like, ooh. 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 What is that? That's so gross. This is definitely mostly gelatin, because otherwise it wouldn't gelatinize like it is in that bowl. Let's keep watching. So gross. So again, this is the broth put into a centrifuge. Again, I don't know how to say it properly. Condensed it down to just pure gelatin, and I didn't see him pour off, like, I saw him pour off the fat, right? And that gross white stuff, again, which I think is protein. But he poured a lot into that beaker to put back into the blender. So I don't know. I think, oh, you know what it is? I think I know what it is. I know why this product, that broth, had so much gelatin. It's because he ground up the wings in the blender, but when he was cooking it, he didn't add water. So I was a little lost as I was watching this, like, how the heck is like this happening? And yeah, it's just pure broth and gelatin and fat from the wings. There was no added water. When you make stock or a broth, you know, for a traditional stock, it's 10 pounds of bones to 1 gallon of water, or I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. It's been a long time, you know, to, I think, a pound of mirepoix, which is 2 parts onion, 1 part carrot, 1 part celery. I could be a little off. What you're seeing there is just pure gelatin and broth from the blended up wings. And that's why it has so much gelatin. And when he aerated it and put it into cold water, that's why it forms this this handful of it's essentially what it looks like. Oof. Oof. Yeah, that was weird. I'm pretty confident in saying that gelatinous product is just, again, pure broth, pure gelatin that was extracted from the wings when he blended it up, cooked it, poured the liquid into a centrifuge, separated any product from that test tube that wasn't gelatin and broth. And I think if he just poured that into cold water, it would have solidified as well, but it wouldn't have looked so cloudy and gross, or it looked, you know, it looked extra gross because he put it into that blender, aerated it, and poured it into cold water. I don't know what he's gonna do with that. Again, you know, he's clearly doing something right as far as his social media content goes. With over 100,000 likes on this video, makes me kind of depressed for the amount of effort I put into Sandwich Sunday. But kudos to him. He's found his niche. I'm happy for him. And this has been fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit like, subscribe, the notification bell. Let me know in the comments what you would like me to review next. And if you want to support me further, be sure to become a patron. Link in the description below. There, when you join my Patreon page, you get exclusive perks and even a shout out on this show. With that said, I am Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, and I'll see you really soon.